Money isn't just a tool, it's a system with hidden rules that shape our lives. Most of us think of money as something we earn, spend, or save, but beneath the surface, it's much more than that. It's a language, a set of codes and signals that influence our choices, our opportunities, and even our dreams. Every transaction, every dollar exchanged, is part of a much larger game, one with winners, losers, and rules that aren't always obvious. Beneath its simple surface, money is governed by deep, unwritten laws of human behavior and power. These laws are not written in any textbook, but they're enforced every day by the way people act, the decisions they make, and the systems they build. The powerful understand these rules and use them to their advantage, while most people remain unaware, playing a game they don't fully understand. These rules have shaped economies from ancient Rome to today, influencing everything from prices to savings. Whether it was merchants trading coins in bustling ancient markets or investors making split-second decisions on the modern stock exchange, the same hidden forces have always been at work. The way money flows, the way it's created and destroyed, and the way it changes hands, all of it is guided by these invisible principles. Understanding them is like learning the grammar of finance. Without it, we're lost in a world that isn't fair. Just as you can't write a sentence without knowing the rules of language, you can't build wealth or security without grasping the rules of money. Many people struggle with finances not because they lack intelligence or effort, but because they're missing the hidden instructions that make the system work. These laws explain why some benefit from new money, while others are left behind, and why the system often feels rigged. When new money enters the economy, it doesn't lift everyone equally. Some people get ahead, while others fall further behind. The gap between the wealthy and the struggling isn't just about luck or hard work, it's about who understands and leverages these hidden rules. Ignoring them is like sailing without knowing the tides. You're at the mercy of forces you can't see. You might work harder, save more, or take bigger risks, but without understanding the underlying currents, you'll always feel like you're fighting against the wind. The financial world is full of uncertainty, but these rules offer a map through the fog. In this video, we'll break down 7 fundamental money laws, using real-world and historical examples. We'll look at how these rules have shaped the rise and fall of empires, the booms and busts of markets, and the fortunes of everyday people. By understanding these laws, you'll start to see patterns in the chaos, and recognize opportunities where others see only confusion. We'll see why bad money pushes out good, how new money creates winners and losers, and why endless debt leads to stagnation. You'll learn why some currencies collapse while others thrive, and how the choices of governments, banks, and individuals ripple through the entire system. These aren't just abstract theories, they're forces that affect your daily life, your job, your savings, and your future. By the end, you'll see money not as a simple tool, but as a complex system with predictable patterns. You'll start to notice the gears turning behind the scenes, the networks connecting people and institutions, and the cycles that repeat through history. This new perspective will help you make smarter decisions and avoid common traps. This knowledge is your first step to navigating the financial world with confidence. Once you understand the hidden rules, you can play the money game on your own terms, and maybe, just maybe, come out ahead. Gresham's law says, bad money drives out good. When two currencies are treated as equal but one is more valuable, people spend the bad and hoard the good. In ancient Rome, emperors debased silver coins with cheaper metals. People spent the new bad coins and hid the old, pure ones. As good money vanished, only bad money circulated, eroding trust and fueling inflation. This isn't just history. Today, when inflation rises, people rush to buy assets like gold or real estate, spending devaluing cash and hoarding what holds value. Gresham's law shows you can't fool people about money's quality for long. When trust fades, people act to protect themselves, accelerating the decline of weak currency. The lesson: trust is the foundation of any monetary system. When it's lost, the system unravels. When a currency collapses, Tyr's law takes over, revealing a powerful truth about how people respond to financial chaos. Suddenly, the money everyone once trusted becomes almost worthless overnight, and the rules of the economy change in an instant. In these moments, good money drives out bad. People instinctively seek out forms of money that hold their value: gold, stable foreign currencies, or even new digital assets, while abandoning the currency that's failing them. In Weimar Germany, hyperinflation made the mark so worthless that people needed wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy bread. The mark was refused in shops, and instead, people turned to US dollars, gold coins, or even bartered with cigarettes, anything that could reliably buy goods. The bad money wasn't just hoarded, it was literally abandoned. Banknotes were tossed aside, left in the streets or thrown in the trash as people realized they were no longer useful for daily life. In more recent times, countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela have faced similar crises. As their currencies collapsed, citizens rushed to exchange their savings for US dollars, gold, or even cryptocurrencies, desperate to protect their wealth from vanishing. Tyr's law shows that in a crisis, people don't wait for official solutions. They find alternatives fast. Markets spring up where people trade in whatever holds value, and the old currency is quickly left behind. The shift isn't gradual, it's a chaotic flight to safety. Crowds rush to banks, lines form at currency exchanges, and people scramble to buy goods before their money loses even more value. No government, no matter how powerful, can force people to use a currency that's lost all trust. When confidence is gone, even the threat of law can't make people accept worthless money. When the social contract of money breaks, people create a new one. They invent new ways to trade, barter, or agree on what counts as money, rebuilding trust from the ground up. This law isn't just a lesson from history, it's happening now, wherever trust in money collapses. From bustling cities to rural markets, people adapt, proving that the value of money is always rooted in trust. When faith is lost, good money returns, and the old system is swept away, making room for something new and more reliable. The lesson is clear. Trust is everything in money, and once it's gone, change comes swiftly, reshaping economies and lives in its wake. The Cantillon effect explains how new money enters the economy unevenly. Those closest to the source, governments, banks, big investors, spend it before prices rise. By the time it reaches ordinary people, inflation has already eroded its value. This isn't just theory. After the 2008 crisis, and during the 2020 pandemic, new money flowed first to financial markets, boosting asset prices for the wealthy. Meanwhile, wages lagged and the cost of living rose for everyone else. The Cantillon effect quietly transfers wealth from the many to the few. It rewards proximity to power, not hard work or saving. The result: the rich get richer, the rest fall behind. This law operates silently, but its impact is everywhere. Understanding it reveals why inequality keeps growing. Financial repression is a hidden tax on savers. Governments keep interest rates below inflation, eroding your savings value year after year. This benefits debtors, especially governments, by shrinking their debt in real terms. Savers, pensioners, and anyone with cash lose out, often trapped by regulations that limit their options. Since 2008 and especially after 2020, central banks have kept rates near zero while inflation surged. The result? Saving becomes a losing game, and risk-taking is encouraged. Financial repression punishes prudence and rewards debt. It's a quiet, relentless drain on your wealth. Triffin's paradox reveals the hidden dilemma at the heart of global finance, the unique burden of being the world's reserve currency. For decades, the US dollar has been the backbone of international trade and finance, trusted by governments, businesses, and individuals everywhere. But this privilege comes with a cost that is often overlooked. To keep the world supplied with dollars, the United States must run persistent trade deficits, importing more than it exports. This allows Americans to enjoy a higher standard of living with access to cheap goods from around the globe, but it also means that many manufacturing jobs have moved overseas, and the US economy becomes increasingly dependent on foreign production and borrowing. Over time, the flood of dollars into foreign markets can create instability. As more and more dollars accumulate abroad, questions arise about the true value of the currency. Foreign governments and investors may start to worry that the dollar is being diluted, undermining their trust in its long-term stability. This tension reached a breaking point in 1971, when President Nixon took the historic step of abandoning the gold standard. The end of Bretton Woods marked the beginning of a new era, one where the dollar was backed not by gold, but by faith in the US government and economy. Today, the US continues to run large deficits, while countries like China and Russia look for ways to reduce their reliance on the dollar. They are diversifying their reserves, buying gold, and even exploring new forms of digital currency to protect themselves from dollar risk. This is the paradox at the core of the system. The very factors that make the dollar so dominant, its global reach and liquidity, also plant the seeds of future instability. The world's dependence on a single currency creates vulnerabilities that can erupt into crisis. No currency can serve as the world's money forever without creating dangerous imbalances. As global trade and finance evolve, the pressure on the dollar, and on the system itself, continues to build. Triffin's paradox is like a slow-motion flaw quietly undermining the foundations of global finance. It's a problem that grows with every passing year, as the world economy becomes more interconnected and complex. This is why the international monetary system feels both privileged and precarious, powerful, yet always on the edge of uncertainty. Around the world, policymakers and investors are already searching for what comes next. The future of global money is uncertain, but the search for stability and balance continues. Goodhart's law warns, when a measure becomes a target, it stops being useful. Central banks fixate on hitting 2% inflation, often ignoring real-world costs like housing and healthcare. Chasing the target, they pump money into markets, inflating asset bubbles while the real economy stagnates. The metric becomes a goal, distorting reality and creating new risks. The same happens with GDP. Governments boost numbers with debt or speculation, not real prosperity. Goodhart's law shows that managing to a number can blind us to deeper problems. The result illusions of success while real issues fester. In money, what you measure, and how you measure it, matters. The law of diminishing returns on debt shows that borrowing fuels growth until it doesn't. Early debt builds factories, educates workers, and grows economies, but as debt piles up, each new dollar borrowed produces less growth. Eventually, debt just pays old debt or props up bubbles, not real progress. Today, many nations borrow trillions just to keep the system afloat. The US now needs multiple dollars of new debt for every dollar of growth. This is a dead end. You can't borrow your way to prosperity forever. When debt becomes a burden, stagnation or crisis follows. The lesson: more debt isn't always the answer. At some point, the bill comes due. These 7 laws are the hidden code of our financial world. They explain why money loses value, why inequality grows, and why trust is everything. Gresham's and Thier's laws show how trust in money can vanish overnight. The Cantillon effect and financial repression reveal how the system quietly shifts wealth. Triffin's paradox, Goodhart's law, and debt's diminishing returns expose deep flaws in global finance. Understanding these laws gives you a new lens to see the economy's true workings. In a world of uncertainty, knowing the rules is your best defense. Learn them, and you'll never see money the same way again.